I am sure sports. You know me there, I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy, 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 boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never seen a game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here. For the day done, you are gonna love over your son.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Yes, greetings. Welcome, my people. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Let me know if you're hearing me loudly and if you're hearing me clearly. It's a wonderful day. The last day of the year 2021 and 2022 approaches. So, yeah, great things and better things are to come. We have a good one lined up for you today as we are going to discuss the Jamaica team that has been selected for the friendly game against Peru in January, the 20th of January. It will be played in Lima, Peru, and that will be right before we tackle Mexico at home. That is at the office on the 27th of January 2022 in a crucial World Cup qualifiers. Want to say a big thank you to everyone in the chat. Kind of figured that Balakar would be here because a squad has been named and it has many of the players that he has been advocating for. So good to see you, Balakar. Ricardo Baggio, bless up. I think that is, could that be shipping port? I think so, no, not sure. Shipping port, if that is you, let me know. Odien, Narcas, bless up as well. And everyone else, I should be having Mr. Diego Gilvey joining me as well on this stream. Mr. Groves, blessings, man. Good to see you. All the best to you and your family for the festive season. So we're going to go through this squad, but as usual, I want to stop, pause, and just share something with you to provide some insight, whether you're a religious person or not. I think this will have some value to you. It says, this I recall to my mind, therefore I have hope. Through the Lord's mercy, we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning, and great is your faithfulness. You understand? The mercies of the Lord are new every morning. And so this morning you got up to new mercies, and his faithfulness is great. He loves you, no matter what you're going through, no matter how bad you think you are, how evil you think you are. He may not love all our ways, but he loves us unconditionally. And that includes you. Just know that you're loved by the creator of all mankind, no matter the state of your life. You understand me? And his mercies are new every morning. And if you would, seek him, you will find him and he will help you. in all your life doings and effort, if you seek to please Him in all your life's doing and your effort. A blessed day to you. I'm wishing you all the very best for 2022. Give thanks. You have made it 300 and I believe 65 days, and you're still on planet Earth. You have completed one more year, almost. Give thanks for life. All right. Please, I want you to join me and engage me in this discussion that we're going to have today. As again, we look at the 23-man squad that has been named to play against Peru. Now, I want to know from you, if are there players you believe that could have been, probably should have been named in this team that are not in it? If so, you can just give me the names and we can have a discussion around those particular players. But for those of you who have not heard the squad, I'm going to give you the name of the players who are in the squad. All right, so let's do that right now. We have 3 goalkeepers, so it's 23 players and there are 3 goalkeepers. All right, Dwayne Miller, Amal Knight, and J.D. White. These are the 3 goalkeepers that have been selected. Dwayne Miller, think that Amal, that's Amal Knight, though it's spelled incorrectly. We're gonna leave it like that. And all right, let's just remove that and correct, right? So you have Amal Knight, Dwayne Miller, and J.D. White. All right. Amal Knight is, as you know, he transferred from Arnett Gardens this season, and he's at Harborview now. Dwayne Miller is a former Harborview player. I think he's out of contract now, and J.D. White, as you know, he keeps at Cavaliers. I will say where this is concerned, so I have 7 players that I think should have been given some consideration, or they at least need to be on standby, and one of them is a goalkeeper. I would like to know, and this is why at some point I'd like to hear from someone official as to why Dennis Taylor is not included. That's part of the question I have. Dennis Taylor has been around. He's been in the setup, was at the Gold Cup, in the friendlies before. Basically, he has been second to our number 1, Andre Blake. So it's kind of curious as to why he's not. So I would have so I will have him on standby. I don't know what the reasoning is, but I'm thinking how I can understand J.D. White because they have been having him around, but this is where now you need a sort of a conversation in terms of a press conference to help to explain the exclusion of Dennis Taylor. Like I said, Dennis Taylor played in the friendlies leading up to the Gold Cup. He was in the Gold Cup squad in the first set of World Cup qualifiers, and then all of a sudden, like I think one thing that came out was that he wasn't playing any football, but he would be training now. I don't know if he's injured or anything, but I am surprised. I'm going to invite my friend right here, Man of Steel with the purple background. How you doing, man?
Boss.
I'm here, but yeah. So
There,
let's
man. Look on the squad,
yeah. What are your thoughts on the goalkeepers? Because I think Dennis Taylor could have been or probably should have been, you know, given a shot. What are your thoughts on that?
Not a bad pool of goalkeepers. I think Taylor was given a raw deal. I think he has been given a raw deal since that game he played against Serbia, which he had a decent game. We drew 1-1. For him to not be called back consistently since then, I think it's a bit unfair to him. But I wouldn't complain too much about the other keepers that are there. But I think, if anything, I would have invited back Taylor ahead of Dwayne Miller.
Yeah, that's been a strange one for me. That this Dwayne Miller. I know he was in the team, but he had some injury and he was out. But
Yeah, man, he did 2 knee surgeries, I think, and he hasn't been playing at a club for a while now, for a good while now. So, and he's like 34, going on 35, and this is his last run. And if he's not going to be a number one goalkeeper, I don't see the sense in having him around and keeping out somebody who could potentially be a starter going forward or in the future. Because I think Dennis Taylor is about 30, 29 thereabout. So I don't really understand that, but I guess it is what it is.
yeah. All right. Any other name that come to mind in terms of the goalkeeping department?
Locally, not necessarily. I think Kemar Foster for Portmore United could be there or thereabout, but I don't think he would get in ahead of any one of these keepers that were selected.
And I don't think he had a good season last season.
Yeah. And
Which
last season wasn't his best as well. So.
All right. So I think Balakar also agree with the Dennis Taylor situation that maybe he should have been. I would have given him a call over Dwayne Miller. Like I said, I don't know if there's any injury and this is why sometimes they need a little bit of transparency in terms of the selection process. You know, right.
The Waterhouse goalkeeper, he had a steady. Well, I would like to think that you're talking about the young one who played
Yeah.
towards the end.
Who is Nash? I think his name is
Nash.
Nash. Yes.
He had a good season towards the end, but I don't think it merited him.
Yeah, because
but he's a good one though.
But he was sitting on the thing is that he was on the bench to the keeper
Chambers, Akeem Chambers.
Right. And Chambers' form fell, and so he had an opportunity. So really, he is a second string goalkeeper.
Yeah, but he should be around the youth teams though, because I don't think he's older than about 21, so he could be around the
former Dintil player, I believe. All right, so let's look at the pool of defenders that they have selected. So they have Damian Lowe. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders. All right. So we see a left back, a right back, and 3 centre back, Damian Lowe, Richard King, Jamai Topi. All right. What say you? So we have Damian Lowe, Richard King, Jamai Topi, Javane Brown, and Kemar Lawrence.
Yeah, so this is not a bad pool. I mean, King deservedly has been the best centre back in the local Premier League. Topi, he looked the part when he came back to play towards the end. He seemed to be a bit unfit, but he looked the part. You could see the quality that he has, and he's been around the program before at a younger age, so maybe they want to introduce him back. No arguments about Javane Brown or Kemar Lawrence, though I think they could have introduced another left back just to kind of, because, I mean, Kemar has played the most minutes outside of Andre Blake in the World Cup qualifiers thus far, and he's playing for his club consistently. And I think maybe they want to look at another left back. So I think that's the only issue. But Javane Brown there is good as well. Damian Lowe, I think, is in preseason now, so it'd be a good opportunity for him to get some minutes. So I don't think there are any other players who could have been invited that has not been invited thus far, especially from the local Premier League. I don't think any other player. I think there's a centre back at Arnett. His name is slipping me right now. Simpson, who could have been in among the mix, but with the three centre backs that were called, I don't see him displacing any of them.
What about the youngster from Cavaliers, Johnny Talbot? And look who is
Talbot
here.
is from Harborview.
Yeah, but look who is here. The genius Diego Gilvey people.
Diego in Matrix style. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, we
Yeah,
can.
man,
Yeah, we can.
listen, man. You look like you're in Men in Black.
Matrix, single mornings. Matrix.
Matrix.
You know, say it's
Talbot is
all
from
about
Harborview, you know.
it's all about the presentation, you know.
Okay, boss. People, for those of you who don't know, this is Diego Gilvey, the one who's normally on the radios out here and thing. But we're just going through the squad, Diego. We went through the goalkeepers. Hold on, Manasky. We went through the goalkeepers, right? And we said that the three goalkeepers, I don't know if you heard, are Dennis Steele, Dwayne Miller, Amal Knight, and Jadine White. One from Harborview Cavaliers, and I think Dwayne Miller is unattached. But we're saying that maybe a Dennis Taylor, who was part of the Gold Cup squad, I believe, wasn't he? Yeah. And he was also in the friendly games leading up to the Gold Cup, and he has not been included, and we don't know why. Do you have any problems with the goalkeepers that have been selected?
Well, to be honest, no, man, man. You know, say Diego deal with cream of the crop, you know. So most of we see the team, but trust me, 80% of the man, they don't know who them is. So I forgot to depend upon you now. The one man me say, but we get to when we get to the midfield, we talk. But no, I couldn't have no issue because I don't even know who those goalies are. Because I know they won't be none of these guys who were playing in the game against Mexico.
You never know. I mean, what if something happens to our number one, Andre Blake?
That's true.
Because I mean, he has kept all the games, you know. So it is possible that something. God forbid something happens, but in the event that something happens, I guess they would probably go for who? Dylan Barnes. Is Dylan Barnes better than Dennis Taylor? Is Jadine White better than Dennis Taylor?
Can you tell me where these goalies are playing their craft right now? Because you know what level. We're not talking, what level are they playing?
Well, Jadine White is playing at Cavaliers. Amal Knight is playing at Harborview. Dennis Taylor is playing at Humberlion. And
before you go, I forget my coffee. I just realized I forget my coffee. But them three man they can't. Even if Blake hurt against Mexico, I forgot to use Blake. That man they can't play. I play Premier League, man.
All right. So see, you're saying what about Johnny Talbot? I was thinking about the difference.
Yeah, man. I was saying that Talbot is from Harborview.
Well, he's overseas now.
Yeah, but well, I don't know what situation. Because when he left, I heard that it was a short-term loan for 6 months. So
right, which should have ended in the region of January. So maybe he's unavailable.
Yeah, maybe it is.
But he's someone that I'd have loved to have seen given an opportunity.
And he has been in the system before as well.
Yeah. And any other defender you saw in the league or playing in the USL that you is not in the squad that you see?
There's a guy that plays left back, he plays for what's the team that Ryan Thompson coaches again? Austin Bold. There's a guy there by the name of Nick Hines. He is a decent enough left back, and I think he's owned by one of the MLS franchise, and they loaned him out to get playing time. And he's pretty young as well. He is a good left back he's a good prospect for a left back that we could look at. But I don't know why they probably any attention was given to him. or probably one of the local left backs. I just think that we could have had another left back from the local league to add to the mix of Taxi Lawrence and Greg Lay. I don't know if we're going to see back Amari Bell, so yeah.
Yeah,
But
and then,
between Greg Lay, Amari Bell, and Taxi, we have 3 solid left backs. But as I said, I don't know situation with Amari Bell.
okay. All right. So that is basically the defense. I see Dre anyway that sports bless up as they continue to recover. It says goalkeeper should be Knight, Taylor, and White. He's also saying that Miller, maybe Miller should not, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they
but Mines, the thing is, yes, Zimenez, yeah. Zimenez is a good player, Dre. As it relates to Miller doing the
right
Mannings.
back though.
Yeah, as it relates to Miller doing the Mannings. I hear people saying that Miller needs a Jamaica call-up to get a contract back at the team that he used to play for. And I'm saying, from Miller left Jamaica to go overseas, that's the club he's been playing for. I don't think he needs a Jamaican call-up to get a contract because at one point he won goalkeeper of the season for that club and had a large amount of clean sheets. So being invited to the Jamaica team, he's not going to play. So how is him being invited going to help him to get a contract at that club? I don't really buy that logic. So I don't know about the contract because yes, he's going to be an international player, but he won't be playing. He won't be playing for the most part. So if it is that they need for him to be called up for them to see him, how are they going to see when he's not playing?
Yeah. All right. So that's the defense. So the defense is kind of set. Listen, I am glad to see Lowe being available, Lawrence being available, because many people are also saying he is players may not be available. But I'm glad to see because this is suggesting that the players probably have confirmed their availability. All right, so let's look at midfield now, Diego.
Before you go, Mannings, man, as you mentioned, defense. Oh, by the way, this is New York, Mannings, man, and we don't have the helpers them like you and the mate to get coffee, prepare right, and at the corner store next door, we go for the coffee, New York style.
New York style, all right, boss.
We don't have the helper them and the mate to get the nice coffee cup and all them things there, So we are doing New York style. We can't afford me in New York like you,
These are our helpers, our two hands.
A pure Mavis and people get to the coffee and make the breakfast at morning time, man.
Yeah, man, but go ahead.
Right. Mariappa now. I thought Mariappa was not. I have him as my right back over Alvis Powell, I thought Mariappa was not playing in the club ball. So is there a reason why him not come?
No, he just
Mariappa is in Australia.
He just got a contract in Australia.
Oh, okay.
Around 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and their league is like the MLS. So I think their league is still playing now.
Yeah,
man, no problem. I get the answer. No problem. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So now we go to the midfield. In the midfield, we see Javon Watson, Kevin Lambert, Tevin Shaw, who is playing in Canada, Romario Howell, who is at Waterhouse. Ramon, yeah. Devon Speedy Williams, Peter Lee Vassell, Lamar Walker, Alex Marshall, who was in Canada, Dwayne Atkinson, who went to Spain and is back in Jamaica, Deshaun Beckford, and Kaheem Paris, who is playing over there in Slovenia. I think his team is in second position and could qualify for the Champions League. If there are 2 players that I'm happy for, well, 3. I am happy. You know what? Let me say this. There are 5 players that I'm happy in this midfield who have been given an opportunity to show them skill. Kevin Lambert, Tevin Shaw, Kaheem Paris, Beckford, and Dwayne Atkinson. I think I am glad that they have been given the opportunity to show themselves to the coach, because this is what it is, a showcase. But let me take Diego first, because I know he has something to say on the person's call in midfield. Go ahead, Diego.
Yeah, man. Well, only the name I see that I'm glad he's there. I don't know why. That's why Tapa, I don't know nobody can defend Tapa, you know, if you don't get fired, you know. Because 2 years ago, Kevin Lambert played a box-to-box midfield against USA and was so impressive, you know. The man played in the USL for about 5 years. The man has maintained professional standard. You don't have a box-to-box midfielder. I'm so glad now Kevin Lambert come back. We was he? I mean, you know, this is the things we're talking about. Kevin Lambert is probably, other than the English players that we don't see yet, probably the best box to. I see him in the USL. The man is a solid box-to-box midfielder at about 25, 26 years old.
Yeah, that was a mystery as to why he wasn't in the team. Not even in the Gold Cup. It was I think he played in the friendly either against Japan or Serbia, and from
Yes,
that
game, yeah.
and he was not called back. So like these are some of the things that you just don't know, you don't hear anything. But I think he has always done well enough to at least on merit be in the squad. What is
The management before the general come in, the next guest. We don't have a box-to-box midfielder. Keith Simpson was our best box-to-box midfielder, and through personal things, tap on the one the man, you know. Because when I asked Clyde Giardini and Zidane who followed the Premier League, they said that year, before the COVID, Keith Simpson was the best midfielder in the Premier League. So much I show you, say, we just have vent still because we're so glad this man gone, you know, because this man is a real clown, you know. I mean, I understand nobody that defend him, you know. We still don't get it, you know. You understand? But go ahead now. We'll like to hear from the next thing.
Go ahead, Brother Steve. This is the Diego play.
Man, Diego is a real character, man. So as it relates to the midfielders now, yeah, I'm happy to see Lambert given an opportunity. I think it's time for him to leave out of the graveyard USL League and go and find some place else for his development to grow. He's about 24.
Hold on. Graveyard, USL. Boss, you think you can't just leave so somebody have to want, you know?
Yeah, Diego, but the way...
You can't blame the man for that.
Yeah, but Diego, the performances that Lambert has been putting in...
Hold on, man. It's like me. My brother end up go Tarrant High School and me go Calabar. You can't blame my brother say go Tarrant. You know what I mean? You have to blame my mother.
But Diego, to be honest, I've watched Lambert play for Jamaica. I've watched him in the USL, and I think Phoenix Rising is one of the best franchises in the USL. But I think Lambert has done enough for him to take a step up. I know it's going to be difficult for him to get in the MLS because of how they do the international spots and things. But I've seen players leave and go to Europe who are of way less quality than Lambert. So I think his agent can do a much better job and get him somewhere in Europe where people can see him, because he has the ability to play there. He has done well in the USL. He doesn't deserve to be in the USL. He has played there for about 4 years or 3 years, and now he signed another 2-year contract. He has done a lot better than what many people who have seen gone to Europe have done, and they are there. So I think he can move to Europe. Kevin Shaw, it's good to see him get another opportunity. He has played there in the national team before, and he's in Canada, so maybe this may be an opportunity for him to move as well. Ramon Howell was a good defensive midfielder, box-to-box midfielder in the local Premier League, so he deserves this opportunity. We know about Speedy Williams.
He played in the USL before he came back to Waterhouse as well.
He played in the USL 1 because he was at Phoenix, and they loaned him out to FC Tucson, I think.
Yeah.
Vassell. Let me leave Vassell for now.
Walker. He has been looking better, you know, in at the conclusion of the USL season.
Yeah, man, I saw him. I watched a few games and I saw him.
He scored some brilliant goals. I mean,
I think he made the team of the week once after scoring one of those goals. Lamar Walker, another opportunity for him to improve himself. Alex Marshall, good to see him back in the national team. I'm interested to see how Dwayne Atkinson plays because he is quite a talent, very, very good player. Beckford too, I think, has done fairly well to earn a spot. He has done well in the USL as well. Kaim Paris, nothing needs to be said about him. He should have been in the team for a very long time, and I hope he uses his opportunity to impress the new coach. The other player that I think could have been in this team would have been, as a CDM from the Premier League, would have been CL Knight. I think CL Knight.
Yeah, but he tailored off at the back end of the season, to be honest. He was injured and he never looked, to me, he never looked well in the season. Portmore also never made the playoffs. So you can't,
Well, that's true. Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
I think that would be difficult for you to pick a person who never even made the playoffs with your team, who was injured for part of the season. It would be based on a name that he would have been called up. But I've always, Mr. Galaxy saying that there's a player called Joey Desart.
Yeah, man, he plays for, I think, Ireland.
Oh, we lost the audio. We have lost the audio, man. Still, I don't know what happened. You're muted.
I think he plays for Ireland City in the MLS.
Yeah.
I got a question for you guys now. We see that you guys watch the Premier League. You have to help us out here in the diaspora, because we don't get to see it. Now I see the names of the midfielders now. Both you and your guest a question, management. If you had to pick 4 midfielders as the best midfielders in the Premier League, name me your 4 management, and I'd love to hear your guess 4.
This is based on what? Based on last
performance.
just completed.
Just the current form, based on
Well, it will be based on the season that just completed.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Based on the season that just completed, I think the players that had Howell had a very, very good season. Andrew Vanzi, I think, had a good season. He played for Humble and his team. Unfortunately, didn't make it through, but he had a very good season. The in the local league, again last season, let me see who would say had a very good season in midfield. Because those were 2 of the standout players. There's a player at Harborview called Priestley that I think had a good enough season. Could have been better. I don't think they are the best players in the league, but based on the form in last season, these players were the better players that I saw in terms of consistent.
What about Alwyn Harvey?
Alwyn Harvey had a good season. I think, the system change at Mount Pleasant affected him at the back end of the season. And so those are some of the players that I think stood out for me last season. There's a little youngster at Arnett Garden called Romario Guthrie. I think his name is
Romeo
Guthrie. He started out well, but his team finished at the bottom of the table. So I would not have him in that conversation. But so some of those players really stood out in terms of midfield in a defensive box to box. We're talking about in the attacking third. You talk about the Christo Jaylee, the Dwayne Busy Atkinson, Romario, Webster of Cavaliers. Those guys had very good season. I think they have included one of them who is Devontae Campbell from Mount Pleasant as on the offensive end. Jordan Fletcher had a good season as well in terms of, like I said, there's a Horatio Morgan at Tivoli Garden.
You didn't listen to Diego question, Diego. I don't know why you call all the midfield of them now. You said name your top 4.
I gave a 4 in the whole in midfield.
You give about 8 million, man.
No, man, I went on, but go ahead.
But me, I just want the top 4 because I want to know of the top 4 how many got selected in this team. I want to see how the Premier League is doing. That's my
one. Only one.
Only one.
Right,
so,
so for me, if I was going to pick 4 from the local league, it would be Vanzi, Dwayne Atkinson, Well, Devontae Campbell is an attacker, but he's been selected as well. Yeah. So it'd be Vanzi, Atkinson, Devontae Campbell, and Ramon Howell. Yeah, Howell is there as well.
Yeah, and 3 of them are in the team.
We get an idea how many Premier League players he selected. Okay, no problem.
Right. All right. So let's move on to this comment.
Mannings, there is also Shaquille Bradford too,
Yeah, I have his name. I have his name as one of the players that I think should have been in it. But he can be on standby if anyone falls out. But I have his name on my list. But Chevron Stewart should have been over Watson. Chevron Stewart is a former St. George's player who went away. He's back at Waterhouse. I really
He didn't do enough.
He didn't do enough. He's a
Man,
good player.
man, me not take you over Javon. Javon Watson, if you go sit down and go retire now, man.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, Diego, but at the end of the day, and this is where now I am going to come. I'm going to
38-year-old. We have
No.
a 38-year-old for that squad. I'm
Yeah.
going to Peru
All right.
to develop.
No. Watch this. What I'm saying to you is that if you're 38 years old and you're doing the business, because I don't want your age, you know.
But it's a friendly management. It's not a real. It's a friendly.
Yeah, but so the coach is going to look at him because he was in the previous squad, and the coach would have seen and think like, okay, let me take a look at him. Remember, so he may think that. All I'm saying is that if Javon Watson at 38, I can understand. I don't disagree with you saying he should not be there. But if Chris Gayle is performing better than all the West Indian cricketers at the opening position at 40, should they call him?
But he's not performing. We see him.
No, man, no.
Of course, but Javon Watson not performing. We see him in the campaign, and we know there's a friend thing with name with Tapa Whitmore. So we don't know saying him not a farm. If he was performing like Cristiano Ronaldo, yes.
Yeah, we're not hearing your man still. You're muted. Yeah, what I'm saying.
To you, so you can't use that now if a man performing. He's not performing. He just sits there. He sits back there and he doesn't do nothing on the field. At 38.
What I've heard you said consistently on other platforms is this: class is permanent and form is temporary.
But he has no class. Javon Watson has no class.
What are you talking about?
You can't compete Chris Gayle, the greatest batsman in the history of the game.
No. Diego, you and I. All right.
You're talking about Pele and Ronaldo and Messi now. You can't put Javon Watson in that class. Javon Watson don't make a Jamaica 11 the best 11.
No. I'm not putting Javon Watson in that class with Pele and Messi. All right. Let me say this. Let me say it this way. Javon Watson did not play atrocious in the games that he played for Jamaica in the World Cup qualifiers. The fact that when he went back, we can analyze it, But to say that he was not the worst performer out there, all I'm saying is that, so if the coach says, I want to look at him, I have no problem with that. All you have to do, regardless of your age, is to perform. If you're not performing, don't be there. So I don't have a problem with the coach looking at him. Even if they call a youngster, I would be okay with it, I'm saying call a youngster. But if Paul Hall says, I want to look at him, I don't have a problem with it because he probably sees some value in having him.
Well, I better look at Fisher then. Because Fisher's still young.
Yeah, but Fisher not available. I think some of those players are not.
MLS not playing.
Yeah, but
no man, he didn't call him. No man, he didn't call him.
No.
You can't Fisher then if based on your argument.
No, man, he didn't. No, man, he didn't call certain players. I can't remember.
He didn't call Blake, Fisher, and Alvas.
Powell and
Alvas don't play friendlies for Jamaica anyway, so.
Yeah. I think Dean Sewell was saying, what if the player is comfortable? Meaning he was talking about Lambert. What if Lambert is comfortable playing in the USL? We sometimes looking way beyond what players themselves want to be. Maybe he's comfortable playing there and he wants to stay there. I think that is what Dean Sewell is saying.
Dean Sewell is talking rubbish. Every player wants to, just like you go to school, you want to go to the next farm. You want to excel. So that your host is right. Why would I want to stay at USL if my goal is to be a basketball player? My goal should be the NBA. So how can you be comfortable at the lowest level like your guest is saying? Dean Sewell talking rubbish.
So what about Andre Blake, who is comfortable staying in MLS instead of probably going on to the Premier League?
Yeah, but management, MLS is the highest league in the US. So and he's been paid well there to stay there. Many leagues in Europe will pay better than the USL money.
MLS is the 4th ranked league in the world in terms of professionalism and economics and all that. So you come now, we're talking about USL, and you see where you go on Manningsman for try to win an argument going to MLS.
What? No.
The USL we're talking about. And you say USL is a worse league than Premier League, you know. You come and say that, you know. So why would anybody want to stay there, like Dean will say, comfortable? Like you're comfortable, it makes sense to want to go. What he's saying is right, because Lambert has the quality to move up to MLS and to the bigger leagues.
All right. So, and then we come to Garfield Daily, where, and Diego, this is where I'm going to challenge you now. It's okay to criticize, but please no name calling. Tapa deserve respect.
Yo, right? Big man, we don't live with Tapa. We're not Tapa's son. We're not Tapa. I'm a sports analyst. I can criticize any coach. Whether I name Clapp, whether I name Rene Simones, they might take things too personal. I'm not saying nothing personal about Tapa. I'm saying he must go. He must go.
No. What he's saying is that
what?
Name calling. Because you're calling him name.
What did I call?
Huh?
What name?
You call him
listen to me right now. People, Tapa knows him is a big time coach. Name calling. Them name call all the big coaches. Phil Jackson, Pat Riley. So who's Tapa? Why we can't name calling? If I can name call you Manningsman with me love and respect, why we can't name call Tapa and you name call me? Them jokers, them disciples, they must stop it. Or them know Tapa have a problem. Tapa is a professional coach. He must know that's part. But what name did I call him anyway? What name did I call him?
So let me ask you. So you run a team over.
I call him a joker coach. He's a joker coach.
So you run a team over there. People, listen. People, this is Diego for you. You don't know.
Everybody know one. Yeah. Only the man in Europe, I don't know where in England and London. Big up London City. Yeah.
There you go. So let me ask you. So you running your because you say it's not personal. So Tapa is in New York and you're running your team. Would you let him coach? Would you let him coach it?
Me have a coach over Tapa. You mad man? I am a better coach than Tapa.
What record you have to prove that you're a better coach than Tapa?
What record Tapa have?
Tapa have the second best win record as a coach in Jamaica's.
I don't know. If you're talking about a professional record, of course not. I don't have him qualifications, if that's what you're talking about.
No, I'm talking
about in my opinion, from my side, this is Diego side. Come on, tell you what Diego do. Diego is an attacking coach. Diego played a 4-3-3 formation. Go back, I keep telling you, from 1970, where everybody going forward. Because when I come at 0-0, my game is, I don't care who he is, my job is to score goal like Man City and Liverpool and Chelsea. So, first of all, my philosophy is attacking to win. So Tapa couldn't coach for me because Tapa played this defense.
You're not coaching anybody.
So Tapa couldn't coach for me because first of all, me not gonna pay him to play defense. You play 2 center, you play 2 defensive midfielder, Javon Watson and the next one, 85-year-old between them, and then they'll sit back and wait for to come at them. So that's my reasoning why Tapa couldn't coach for me. You talk about qualification, no one thing, a different thing.
Let me say this, Diego, but you don't coach, Diego. Because remember, no, man. Let me tell you what I mean by that. When
we don't coach, I never dare want to give them yet.
No, man, let me finish now, man. You have to let me finish. See, let you finish. All right. So when you call O'Neal Chippy McDonald, for example, and you call say Jeremy and you, and you call those players to play in a league.
Don't forget the great Irvina English.
You call all of those players. You assemble some of the best players to play in a competition. That is not coaching.
Competition. Be specific with the people that talk is straight now. New York Summer League.
The New York Summer League.
Yes.
When you get all of those players and you muscle head and all of those people, and you get all of them to come and play. That is not.
And the great Rum Campbell and the great and all of them.
And the great Rum.
Hines. Call them name the one.
You're not coaching.
Mannings, Diego just pick an all-star team. And
what am I doing?
You're not coaching.
What am I doing?
You're managing people. That's different.
Right, so we agree to disagree. Let's move on now. Because I know I'm coaching. Can we give them instructions? And we don't want from them. So you are talking about qualification, no, a certificate are 2 different things.
All right, so
move on.
Frankie saying, has Lambert played well when given an opportunity for Jamaica? And more recently, last friendly he played, he looked lost. And then
that was in the Japan game. I think he was hurt in that game though, Well, and I mean,
Yeah,
that game,
he had an injury, right? He was playing with an
yeah,
injury
but
because they were really summoned. Some of these players were not supposed to be called, and they end up being called. I think and that's sometimes part of the problem. The player and the whole travel arrangement is sometimes the players turn up, and the whole background work does not suit them performing at their best. You
yeah, but
understand? Like,
Mannings, but Mannings, he was remember, that was supposed to be a tour, I think they were to play Japan's first team,
right.
Serbia, and then Japan's under 24 or 23. So and they didn't play one of the games. But I'm saying you can't really use that game to judge any player because all the Jamaican players are horrible in that game. So I think he could get a pass for that game.
Yeah, and then he was also
But
put back
Alex,
to play centre back.
that person is wrong. Tell him to watch the USA game 2 years ago. Kevin Lambert. He can't watch one game and come to a conclusion. And tell him watch Kevin Lambert in the USL.
You can't tell me that.
You can't tell him now. You can't tell him now.
Hold on, we have Calabar versus Casey right now, so let's see how it goes.
That's not a competition. That's not a competition. Some schools have history that goes way back and accolades to demonstrate that. So I say this about you guys judge Antonio, you judge Pinnock on one game. As I'm showing you about the lack of objectivity when we make these assessments. Antonio was disregarded for the first game. Pinnock has not been called back. Obviously, Antonio came back and proved himself. Lambert has played for Jamaica, and as Diego mentioned earlier, played well previously. But when I saw him in the Japan game, to me, he looked lost. Now, people are saying you're injured. I thought if you have class, whether you're injured or not, when you touch the ball, if you even can't run, I see that class manifest itself. So am I missing something?
Yeah, but Cranky, what I'm saying, Cranky, is I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying that game was the worst game I have ever seen a Jamaican team play. So I'm just saying,
I don't disagree with you.
Declare that game null and void.
It's the worst game I've ever seen a team play. Much as a Jamaican team play.
Yes, I'm just saying, let's just declare that game null and void.
So, Frankie, based on the squad, then you would pick all those players over Kevin Lambert in the midfield.
No. I wouldn't pick Javon Watson to play in your over 40 league.
All right. So what we're saying, we're talking about Kevin Lambert in the context of this team going to Peru.
No. And look, I don't say he should be in the squad, but I'm just saying sometimes we're talking about players and their capability, but I'm always judging them based on who we're going to play, like in the World Cup qualifiers or in competition, right? I don't judge players based on USL. And I'm also always challenging people about when he said this player is playing really well and scoring a lot of goals, he's sometimes playing against inferior competition. And we have to think about ultimately what we're trying to judge them against eventually. If I'm playing well in USL, I may have the ability to play in the MLS or go further. But when I get that opportunity, do I take advantage of it? That's the question.
No, but I hear you because I would have it as my starting 11 against Mexico based on the quality we have. With all of Lewis Bacon and Dennis, what the guy named Dennis Johnson and Ravel Morrison. I wouldn't have him over those guys. I agree with you there. No, we're talking about.
So, man, I want to make this point. I was going to say that I'm running coach's desk tonight, so you guys should come and watch it. I'm substitute for him. I know me run my mouth management, but let me just say this: if Ravel Morrison, I know people gonna give me a hard time of saying it, I'm gonna say it anyway. And by the way, Balakar, don't challenge me. Like I know me fast before me start talk. I challenge me with a Lambert player, we laugh for him player. Try to call me out in public domain. Mind yourself, Balakar. Mind yourself. If Ravel Morrison was Bailey, he would get not Ravel Morrison. What's the kid name we haven't called back in a while? Play center half, tall, lanky, light skin.
Ethan Pinnock.
No, not Pinnock. He's been with us forever. He played in the Gold Cup.
Michael Hector.
Right.
If Michael Hector, think about Bailey, how Bailey played for Jamaica, and Michael Hector. You know, Michael Hector's played better for Jamaica than Bailey. If Bailey's name was Michael Hector, he would not to play for Jamaica. If Bailey's name was Michael Hector, he would be asked not to come and play back for Jamaica. Ever. He'd be treated like Curtis Still. So why I'm calling this out? Because we are too biased in our assessment of people based on our affiliation with them.
Yeah, but
people like individuals Judge them based purely on their performance, and don't give allowance to someone because you're affiliated with him or you know him really well or it's part of your domain, and then push somebody else, push them away, say they're not good just because they didn't grow up in your environment. You haven't seen them 24/7. Treat everybody the same. Give them the same opportunity, the same fairness that you love for yourself. Be equitable in how you assess people. And life in general in football, we don't do that. We are very unfair about how we judge people. And Manning's man, you and I gotta talk. I don't want to take over the conversation because I gotta run get my booster shot in about 20 minutes. But yeah, I tell people, like, I try to promote people getting the booster shot. And I tell my people, I run from vaccine, and I'm not seeing when I die off. The point I'm trying to make is this: is that we are very biased, Manning's man, and I hear you, and I talked to you last night about this. When it comes to Jamaican coaches, Jamaican people, about people in diaspora, people who are born in Jamaica. We have to converge and collate as one people and stop trying to disenfranchise ourselves by not coalescing as people.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well said, man.
Yeah.
So I think Cranky's point is fair, but it's natural. It's a natural human tendency to have more time for somebody who you are closer to or more affiliated with. It's not necessarily right, but it's just a natural human tendency. But I think persons have more time for Leon Bailey as well because of the quality that they know he possesses. So because they see him day in, day out playing at a high level, they are more or less hoping that if we give him another opportunity, we will see this quality at some point. So I think that's the thing with Bailey. I mean, I've seen people be critical of players who were local developed who come and play. And they have been critical of players who were born in another part, another Jamaican player who was developed in another country. But the thing is, sometimes the whole idea of we need to go to Europe to go get these players, and these players, I think the thing that causes the problem is the way in which the English-based players are sold by even the persons of the JFA from the past. Like even Captain Burrow is here, and he's saying that these players are going to come, they're going to save us. Once they come, we don't have any more problem. And then they come here, and then we see Curtis still. So we have a level of expectation of these players to come and give us something, but then they come and they play, and what they display, we consider it to be far less than what we expect. So when that occurs now, naturally persons are going to be tougher in their assessment. That's just my understanding.
Yeah, but man, Curtis still played 1/4 of a game before he pulled a fat or a muscle or a bone, whatever he pulled.
Yeah.
Right? You can't even judge him. You gave Lambert an allowance in that whole Japan situation. You don't give Curtis Stills an allowance.
No, let me
I'll give Lambert an allowance. I'm not giving. I'm giving everybody who played in that game an allowance.
So give Curtis Stills an allowance.
I'm giving all of them an allowance.
What I am saying is that
Dylan Barnes.
I think, I agree that sometimes what happens is because in our minds, when you hear a person coming from England to play, in our minds, our expectation is that whoever we have, whether playing locally or born locally playing elsewhere, in our minds we're saying this player must be leaps and bounds above the person. When they turn up, and our estimation is they are not that, I think it affects some people. No, I don't. There are certain things I don't agree with. I think Ethan Pinnock, like Bala Karan, I agree on a lot of things. But this Ethan Pinnock thing, I think Ethan Pinnock to consistently play for Brentford in the Premier League against some of these top defenders and not being outclassed does say that he's a good defender.
Man,
right? He may not look good for Jamaica, but you cannot say he's not a. You can have that, You can be a very good footballer for your club, but when you play, like Messi used to struggle with that. People say Messi never looked the same.
Yeah, but like Leon Bailey, man, just go to Leon Bailey. Go to Leon Bailey.
So Manning's man. So Ethan Pinnock has played in the 4th division, probably National League in the UK, came over to the Premier League, has played against the Salahs, the Chelseas, the Man City, has never looked out of place. Even the last game that he played, where they had 13% possession, He had 25 touches. I think he won like 8. How many headers he won? How many duels? I mean, his stats in almost every single game, given who he plays for and who he plays against, as being good enough. I think his rating was 7 against Man City, which is always a good rating against a team that dominates possession. So how can you then say the person's performing at a high level? Maybe you should think about looking for the Jamaica team as the problem for Pinnock, not the player himself. If the player's playing with Brentford, who's not the best team and doing really, really well against the best players in the world, not the best players in England, in the world in general, and he comes to you and he's not performing well, you should challenge yourself and say, what am I not doing right? How am I positioning this player in the right position? And he only played 2 games. One was against the US, one was against Austria, when we played in Austria, and the last one against Panama, which nobody played well. And Balakar, who is the aficionado, the expert, the know-it-all about football, you just make me laugh sometime when I hear you talk about football. Seriously.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, like I said, I mean, I think he's a very good player and needs to be given an opportunity. I could see him and Lowe having a very good defensive partnership if they work together. I think Paul, if he can get the best out of both of them, it is a very good defensive, because I think he's a quality player. Would have had bad experiences, but I see some comments here that are very important. Because
one thing, management, I would say this: if Pinnock hadn't declared for Jamaica, I think and even though he's 30 and start getting like younger players, there's a possibility they got Tyrone Mings out of that England squad. I actually believe that. Yeah. I think he's better than Tyrone Mings.
Yeah. But and I mean, you're okay with the squad so far, Cranky, based on what you have seen?
Yeah, I mean, look, we don't have the ability to select a holistic squad based on all players who have the ability to play for the team. It's a mainly locally based team. So, yeah. I mean, those are players you expect to have. There's a couple of players like Desart people are saying should be in the squad. But you're always going to have that, right? There's always going to be a difference of opinion as to 1 or 2 players. But you can't say the players that are in the squad, no, apart from one player. And Manning's man, please don't destroy your credibility by sticking up for this player. Please don't destroy your credibility. He's 38 going on 70 in time up. Move on.
All right. Diego.
Yeah, I'm here, man.
You're still here. All right.
Cranky doing a good job, man. Listen to Cranky, man.
you normally beat Cranky team, Buffalo team?
No, but I said Buffalo. If
we don't exist anymore. Buffalo done one long time.
Buffalo was way back, originally in the Bronx. When Diego Gordon played for it, right, Cranky?
Yeah, Diego played. And we had nothing to do with teams.
Tiger Reds, I think.
Yeah, Connie used to run the team, so Connie used to import baller. Well, that's Freddie.
All right.
Freddie Butler. I didn't play the complete for you. Connie give them a compensation.
Connie's name is Norbert Ratchpaul. That's my
Norbert Ratchpaul, yeah.
So that you might go way back, General. You might go way back. Yeah. So they didn't play. They didn't stay for very long. It wasn't like we play for 20
80s to the 90s, 80s to mid 90s, and then
yes.
And I play for Unisac after that. Play for Unisac.
Oh, Unisac. Unisac still exists now in the Bronx. Yeah, the guy from Georgia is still running it, and
Danny Green.
No, man. So Cranky, you was at New York, man. You in New York?
Yeah, man.
Okay. But you give
me see part of the Brooklyn Soccer League, when they used to do well.
With Valentine them.
Yeah. I'm saying I've run it. Yeah.
Okay, no man.
They're in the Bronx.
Cranky, you're a Bronx man, really.
Yeah, he's playing the Bronx League way back when against Upsetters and team a long time ago.
He's not good, Diego. Diego is not good enough, so you only really be able to. You remember it.
Man, I played on the same team with Freddie. So we know some are good, but we still have a few with them. So that's good enough.
Freddie played for different. But you say you remember Caribbean then with Trevor Fox and Paul Young and
yeah, man. That was a very good team. Freddie used to play for them too.
Yeah, shout out Voodoo. That was my team.
And then Upsetters with Blakey and them, man. Yeah, man.
Okay, yeah, man. Cranky know the New York thing, man.
Because we used to play with Donny and Data Bloats, live matches. And then when Bingy Blake come up and come play with you sometime. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, that's a real Carib now and then with Brooklyn, with Rovers, back in Brooklyn.
Yes.
No, man, Cranky know the New York thing, man.
Yeah.
New York will take you all day if you want me and Cranky talk about New York,
All right, so we can leave the conversation.
Only by history.
Only by history is right.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said, yes, the only thing Pinnock is a good player, man. He's incredible. Outside of defending, his touch and distributor is. Listen, Omar McIntosh, I don't think he's incredible. I think he's a very good player.
Manning's man. Let me just say this, Manning's man. So when we look at the stats, every game Jamaica play, and we look at our centre backs, first of all, Moore and Mariappa don't touch the ball a ton. Lowe is always the man making the passes. And his stats are not the best in terms of passing. 14, 15, 16 turnover. Look at Pinnock's stats. He's ability to pass the ball to his own player, not the opposition. And it's better stats than our defenders.
Yeah. He's a very good player, but when I talk about incredible players, in terms of defenders, I'm going to talk about Van Dijk and the world class. I don't think he's world class, but he's a very good player.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, so Kirk Hendricks, big baller from down, Herbert Marcy said, love Bailey, love his club game, but he hasn't given us anything on the national level. Yeah, I'm hoping, again, my hope is that I'm hoping that Paul Hall can get the best out of Leon Bailey when he's fully fit. Like,
I do think Manning's man, he'll be helped if we bring Gray in. Because people don't realize the better you have players on the field, the more defenders can concentrate on one player. If you have Bailey, Antonio, and Gray up front, then you have diversity in terms of the talent pool. You have very good players at each of those positions. You can't focus just on Bailey, for example, and double team and triple team him. Because someone else will be open if he moves the ball pretty quickly. And hopefully we get some midfielders like Ravel playing up top. And we get two very good center midfielders. Because right now we don't have any.
Exactly. I think if we have, say, as an Shamar and Mikel up front with Gray, Bailey, and either Bobby or either Ravel or a Maggie having their best game to string those passes, then I think you'll probably see the best of Leon Bailey with a better defense where he doesn't have to be double teaming at kind of a thing. I think, he needs to do better, but I also believe that some of the factors in the team has affected the overall performance of many players, including even Ravel. I don't think we have seen the best of Ravel. I don't think we have seen the best of some of the players because the team hasn't been set up to allow the players to be their best in certain situations.
I don't think Ravel has been put into a situation to give him the best chance to be successful.
Yeah.
I mean, he played half the Panama game. He hasn't played a full game yet in the World Cup qualifiers, has he? So he hasn't been given the best chance to be successful and put in a position where he can maximize his talents, especially his passing skills. We need a CDM. We don't have a CDM. I know people keep talking about Anthony Grant. Grant don't have any legs. And Haka just take up space. So we need a CDM.
Tell me something, Cranky, and man. Don't you think it would be unfair to Leon the fact that he has been injured?
No, Diego was in Orlando. I watched him up close and personal. And he to me was injured in the first game. Maybe he got injured in the second game. Didn't play the third game. He was trying to do too much. He was trying to demonstrate his capability without playing a team game. And people are complaining he was double teamed. Sometimes he wasn't double teamed. They were playing him physical and overly physical, and the ref weren't protecting him. But I watched him play for Jamaica. And over the last number of games, apart from the injuries you mentioned, he still hasn't demonstrated the skills that he's done at Leverkusen or even more recently with Villa when he's had a few appearances. He hasn't played for them a lot, but even when he came on, he played well. The game he scored that brilliant goal when he came on. So he's played well in his brief appearances for Villa. But for the national team, whether it's bickering that occurred early in his career or more recently when he's played, he has not differentiated himself, which is concerning because he's a good player.
Yeah, I like what Dean is saying, that the quality of Leon is not lacking. If he uses team, he can maximize his individual strength. And I think, I'm hoping that Paul Hall can somehow find a way to get the best out of him, because there's a lot of potential there. Listen, he can't be doing so well at Villa, Leverkusen, and it cannot be replicated for Jamaica. It's not just him.
Some of his decision making is lacking. I saw him at Villa the last game before he got injured. He had a ball with a 3 against 3, just to play the ball wide, a simple pass, he tried to cut inside because he's always thinking about the individual element of it. As the post here says, you're right, he needs to play more team ball and only utilize that skill when it's necessary. You don't have to beat a man 20 times to demonstrate that you can play football or to create space or to try to score a goal. Utilize your teammates. Maybe he doesn't have confidence in his teammates. Maybe that's part of the issue.
Yeah.
Maybe if he passes the ball, he goes in a hole and doesn't get back. So why not keep it? Who knows?
Yeah. A boss Tabas asking about Ethan Pinnock at Arsenal. I think we have
No,
to.
we have enough. We have the rock. We don't need any left back. We left center half. We have a rock. We have Gabriel.
Yeah.
We have the
Big up,
monster.
big up Carlton Alexander as well. We haven't even. You know what I want to ask, because somebody just bring up the Joey Pesa just brought up about the Joey. I think Dessert is his name. I think how the name
Joey
is.
Desert, yeah.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Is there and Diego, you guys are in this. You're over there in the States. How do you think the Jamaica football culture looks at Jamaicans playing in America in particular? Do they see them as subpar in compared to Jamaican playing elsewhere because of the level of the leagues there? Because this has been ongoing. I remember when I talked to Tyrone Marshall. I can tell you, Wolde Harris, Omar Cummins, even Andy Williams to a lesser extent. A lot of these guys, when they played in the States, they were doing phenomenal things in the leagues, but they never appealed to the coaches in Jamaica. I think it's because it's America, and America is not viewed as a country with a football culture. Do you think like that affects a player like this Joey Desert guy, who just, no matter how good he looks in the USL, he never even gets a call up because he's playing in America? Like if he were playing this way in probably in Europe, he would have probably an opportunity. You think that is an issue? And if so, what is the cause of that issue? Let's hear from Diego first and then Crank.
No, but it's simple, Mannings, man. It's no secret that Jamaica football is corruption. It's not based on objective selection. We don't know that. So what happened is now, even if he's a excellent baller in the MLS or USL or college, Jamaica football, and even the great and Johnny Barnes said, Jeffrey Maxwell said, the football in Jamaica is not used to select the best to win. The football in Jamaica, who makes the decisions, I would have to go around it, is to use it to sell footballers to make money. So the overrun the football, you must say you have to play the Portmore baller. Overrun the youth program, you have to go use the Cavaliers, man. So there's no objectivity in selection, man. I mean, Jeffrey Maxwell came out. Is Jamaica football? Is it for selling footballers and using it to make money for the different club owners, them and the connections? Or is it to play the best? Why do you think them have a problem with foreign ban and foreign players? Because them can't make no money off of foreign players. So them are going to draft for them friend, them a Portmore. Them going to draft for them friend, them a Cavaliers, a Harborview. So that is simple what it is. They don't go around it.
All right. What say you, Frankie, on that issue? And then I'm going to take.
So you can look at it different ways. I think there's been almost a consensus, man, when you interview either ex-players or coaches, they've expressed some concern about the objectivity of the process of player selection, right? You can draw a theme from that, which is interesting. I think there's more to it, though. I think there is a out of sight, out of mind sometimes, especially where the outer sight is some place you don't really respect. So you may respect more football played in Europe, for example, even in Belgium, than you do in the MLS or the USL. So you don't have the same perception of the quality of the opposition, and therefore the player performance may not come into play as well in terms of selection as it relates to a player who you can see more every day locally. And even though the level of competition is not the same, you value how they're playing. Or if, it's someone you're affiliated with. But here's the problem, Mannings, man, you're going to run into. When Jamaica continue to export more and more footballers, and as Diego alluded to and people alluded to, and money comes into play, is that selection process going to continue? Where is the quota now going to be against not just overseas born players, but locally developed players who are playing overseas? So my next man, if I export 100 people, right? They're all playing in different parts of the world, all playing very well. The national team has to select 23 players. Do I still have a quota for 6 local players in that squad, man? When I have 100 overseas to select from? How does that work? And what would that mean for those players who are playing overseas, who are playing better than the local players, who you want to bring to the national team to give them exposure? So this concept of exposure has always been focused on the overseas-born players, but the more you have more players you export, the more it's going to come very obvious and apparent that your process is not as objective as it should be, and it's not a meritocracy. There is some bias in the process. Because if you have all the Kevin Lamberts and the Lowe's and the Baileys and the Burks playing overseas, and you're still selecting 6 local players in your squad, how does that work? And that may manifest itself more if you start exporting more, younger players. Say exporting 20-year-olds. What does that mean for your under 20 team?
Yeah.
In terms of your selection process. So it's going to be interesting how that works going forward, because even though we're saying the football hasn't progressed, man, I probably would challenge that in some respects, because everyone goes back to 97, 98, the 90s about how we operated. And we always think things were better in the past than they are today, which is most times not the case, right? You're biased to legacy and biased to history. The issue is going to be management is that Jamaica's probably exported more players overseas than it ever has in its history, frankly. So is that the football is not going to Jamaica? Or just like South America, you're exporting most of your better players, so you're not seeing them domestically, and you've watered down your local leagues, not necessarily the quality of your players.
Man, let me give you an example. And after that, I just listen to Johnny Barnes' interview, and ask him why him leave, because him never lose a game and him leave, But let me give you an example now. Your friend Duki, the under 23 coach. Because you know all of them in the management. You know all of them are friends, because he's a diplomat. Duki go to an under 23 competition, cranky, lose all 3 games, and his excuse was him players were not fit. And I have friends here in America with college players where fitness can't be the issue, where we had for them to select, right? And the man, they refused. They took none of the players where the man them go through the effort. That tells you right there, they're not interested, because you know, cranky, college players is about fitness in college. Yeah. It's about fitness in college. And your argument why you lose the 3 games is that your players not fit. And so why you select them then when we have fit players right at your border with the combines in Miami, right here with Mikey Barnes. We cannot call the name them. That don't make no sense. So I tell you, say, the selection process, unless you have a man like Johnny Barnes and hopefully Paul Hall, Rene Simo, unless you have a man like them man there who are going to pick it objectively and pick it best, whether them come from Turkey, America, Jamaica. You are your friendly, your coach Lehman a question if them are Jamaican. They are Jamaican if them have a passport.
He took it to a different level.
Thank you, country. So imagine them man there imagine the philosophy of them man there national coach. The man a question if the man them are Jamaican and the man them have them passport.
All right, listen, I'll so many things coming in, but let me just go through, because I know Crank will have to leave, and you guys, it's a work day, so I can't keep you away from work. It's still a work day. But Dean Silva says it's not the thought of the Jamaicans in America. It is a mindset that we have that playing in America, or the level of playing in America, is subpar to everywhere else. And then he makes a very important point after that. This is Dean Sewell, former national player. So he's speaking from experience. He says, that's been an ongoing issue from as far back. Myself and Andy faced it when we joined the 98 team for the final round. So there you go. That there is some legitimacy to the fact that there is a overlooking players in the States, because it is seen as a subpar league. And the standard is subpar, which is part of the issue. But I know Crank will have to leave. I'm going to take some more of the comments, but I want to just put up this one comment, this comment here, which is the list of attacking players that they have selected. I think the Corey Burke is spelled wrong. It's Devontae Campbell. He's a 17-year-old from Mount Pleasant. There is Jordan Fletcher, who is on trial. I don't know if he's back yet, but he went on trial over there in Egypt. Corey Burke, and Okwasa Chang, the young Harborview player. Those are the players that they have selected to go and play this friendly. So that's the entire squad now. I was going to, Ali, my standby player in the attacking sense is this guy called Shaquille Bradford, who played for Waterhouse, former Camperdown standout player, had a very good season. He scored around 7 goals. I would also have Christopher Pearson from KC on standby. That, and if anyone falls out, then he could come in. And Trayvon Reed, the former KC Tivoli Gardens player that is at Harborview. And I'm also giving a shout out to one of the standout midfielders. You don't know if I call him his name. His name is Abino Wallace, who is a very good midfielder in schoolboy football. Because I'm saying, if I'm looking at players like, I would, right, Akwasa Chang from JC, sorry, not KC, right, formerly. I didn't say KC still, but right. I would also have these guys on standby. That meaning, if any of these players for whatever reason can't make it, then I'd pull in one of these guys instead of going for older players again. So
management,
yeah.
Who picked this team? It can't be Paul. Paul doesn't know all these players.
That's what I want to know. I want to know who picked the team. Like, who selected
the squad? Who selected the squad? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very important question. Top 10, we did call Alwyn and Harvey for the midfield. So we are at the, who select the squad? Because Paul Hall would not know some of these players.
No.
But what is, man? I heard it's you. Tell the people that the truth, and don't hide the things from the diaspora in the past. This is America, freedom of speech and free. Everything have to be transparent in America,
I don't know about
that's why a certain older gentleman is in the team. No, I did.
I tell you,
so he advocating on his behalf this morning, man. I don't know how you advocating on his behalf.
You were so chronic, man. I defend Javon Watson. He was part of the selection.
Yeah.
Garfield Daly sent bless up stand my UNISA captain.
Bless up Garfield. Bless up Garfield.
But Frankie, before you leave, because we have from here history, you're another genius in football. We know if we select him more than the Joker Tapper with more. Give me using a 4-3-3 formation based on who have played for Jamaica now, not who coming, who you have seen play, put on the Jamaica colors. Give me what 11 you would, if everybody's available, what 11 would you put on the field using my formation?
4-3-3. Yeah, so I'm gonna do it quickly because I have to run. Yeah. So Blake in goal, left back is Taxi, Pinnock left inside, low right, Jabron Brown right back. Midfield is Anthony Grant, Speedy with Ravel. Left is, I'm going to say Gray because I hear he has papers, Antonio and Bailey.
Okay.
You know how quickly I gave that? I didn't even struggle.
Yeah.
I think the team sort of picks itself.
I won't ask Manning's man, because Javon Watson must be in
No. What you're talking about? Diego, man, the people in the studio.
You can't do 11, Manning's man. You can't give me 11.
Huh?
Give the people them 11.
I mean, I would start. I mean, Ethan Pinnock and Damian Lowe, I think, is the best defensive pairing we have. I would go with Kemar Lawrence. Probably same thing like Cranky at right back. I would have Javian Brown just because how he played in the last game. It is in midfield because I don't know who my holding midfielder would be. Because
who you have seen put on the colours so far in the campaign?
Well, the one that I've seen is Grant. But Grant, no, what I'm saying is that Grant has not been playing because playing for Jamaica has affected the relationship with his domestic club. Yeah. So they have not been playing him any at all. So I don't know.
No. So based on who you have seen play for Jamaica, forget about the club team. Who you would have put? It's hypothetical enough.
I mean, I would have to go with Devon Speedy Williams in there right now. With Ravel Morris. Um, the three up front, I'd go if I would go. I, listen, I'm going to make a switch because I would play four midfielders because
Oh, man.
You said 4-3-3 management. You can't change the formation.
I'm saying give Diego formation. You can give
So I'd go Ravel. I'd go Speedy in there, and I would let me go forward. I would go Mikel Antonio if Demar Gray is available, him and Leon Bailey.
So you're missing a CDM.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right. That's the difference between me and Cranky. Let me give the people them my own now. 4-3-3. Up front. The three forwarders for Diego is Leon Bailey, Shaman Nicholson, and Antonio. Going at people. In my midfield, I've got Ravel Morrison and Daniel Johnson with Anthony Grant as my holding midfielder. My two centre half is going to be Damian Lowe and Moore. Now, here's where I'm going to shock everybody. My left back is Lee, and my right back is Mariappa. I'm getting rid of Tax and Ravman Powell.
No, it's not a bad team. I still think Mariappa, when I saw him against Honduras, he was getting roasted. I didn't think he had the speed, the recovery speed to catch up with the forward play. He got roasted against Honduras. I'm not sure people realize that. Roasted all game. Lowe didn't help him either. And I think Greg Lee, we only seen him for one half. We've seen Taxi played decent throughout the campaign. Lee had a phenomenal one half.
Taxi has made too many mistakes from me. Too many crosses coming from his side.
I think most of the crosses go come from the left side, not the right side. I mean, for the right side of us.
Which is Taxi. No.
What I mean is the opponent's left side or right side. Okay. I think most of the burden come from that side of the field, when Paul was playing there, Albas was playing there. Not as much the other side, which is Taxi's side. But Greg Lee was phenomenal in the game he played, but he only played for a half, right? So it's hard to judge him based on one half. But I mean, your team is a fair team. I wouldn't play. Antonio got to play in the middle of the park. So if you play Nicholson there, Nicholson can play out wide. Then unless you're playing two forward, then how does that? Sorry,
Antonio in the middle, man. Antonio in the middle.
So Nicholson is not a winger, though. He's going to struggle out there.
No, my forwards have to keep moving in a Diego style again. Brazil 70. Okay. You don't stay one place with Diego football. You're interchangeable. Ask Dean Sewell. Everybody is interchangeable.
Yeah, I don't know if Nicholson and Antonio interchangeable. Maybe Bailey. Antonio can play anywhere, by the way. He's done it, but it's not in his DNA nowadays.
I think Antonio can play on this interchangeable on the forward.
Now he is. He played wing back when they had done the 10 men the other day, and he started off in the defense. But after a while, your mindset changed, and I realized he doesn't run back as much as he used to.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not that box to box player anymore. When he used to play right back, he doesn't play that way anymore.
All right, let me say this. Let me just clarify something. I am not going to say Paul Hall had absolutely nothing to do with the players that were selected. I will say this though. It is highly unlikely that he would have seen enough of some of these players to say, I want this. He would have had a lot of influence. And nothing is wrong with that. Because it's a technical committee.
Hey, Diego, sometimes you get acclamation, you get recognized as official media, and it converts you to operate that way.
Yes.
All of a sudden, management start use euphemism. It's mild comments. But I'm not going to say definitively. I'm going to make a general comment that I don't think that I can't be exact anymore. I'm going to say this management. Him don't know them. He don't know them. You don't know most of them, I should say. Some he knows was Speedy, but don't know most of them. Trust me.
How can you know the Premier League players, management? When you don't even see much of the Premier League, you say you did it.
That's what people are saying. That people are making it sound. Midfield is asking if it was roast beef or roast pork, Cranky.
What do you mean?
When you're talking about things they're being roasted, Mariappa.
When I eat pork and I'm a Rasta, so I must be.
By the way, I'm glad D, will you tell management in the world that Diego is a coach? He's not a qualified paper coach, but he is a coach.
Management, thanks for having me. I have to run, Diego. I have to go get my shot.
Yeah, man.
Bless up, Diego. Bless up, Diego.
Diego, being in the leagues, Diego, like that, and you're assembling players. Somebody said it earlier. Don't necessarily mean that you're a coach. Simon Preston, thank you for saying that. Right, as a few trials. Right, he says he knows Atkinson as he had a few trials in Europe recently. Great. So he may. That's what I'm saying that. And Paul checked in on him when Atkinson was in Spain. There we go. So he knows he would have had some knowledge of some of the players.
Okay.
But he would have needed some sort of advice, which is fine because there is a technical committee. And I think he's just using this to see, all right, are there any players outside of the group that is here that I can add to the team? Because I believe that the core of the team that was there before will be kept intact for the game against Mexico, because it is 7 days. How many changes will you be able to make from your core that was there from this year after this friendly? You're probably bringing a 1 or 2 or 3 players at most if you have injuries and stuff like that, because I believe that this game was with a hope of probably getting like the other players out of the MLS, like the Andre Blake, the Alvis Powell, you understand me? Those other players, as much of them as possible, and those would have been on break. It didn't work out this way, but other players now have an opportunity to go and prove themselves to the coach. Again, I am glad for some of these players because some of us have been saying, yeah, they need a chance, they need a chance. Now they have an opportunity. They have an opportunity against a quality opponent that they need to go and prove themselves that they are better than the players who are there. And so we can stop this complaining about players not being given an opportunity. All right, Dean.
By the way, man, as we see the great Simon Preston, just let the people them know. We just smile as we see him, because me and him father was in first farm together, Richie Preston, the great Richie Preston, shot put off for Calabar,
Oh, you went to school with Preston father?
Yeah, man. Not just school. The man that was my protector, kind of big, 6 footer, and me small. And
Yeah.
I know my mouth, but nobody could have touched him, man. Him father protect me, man. Can't touch Chile. That time the name was Chile in Calabar.
Okay.
So, big up yourself, Simon. And not a young genius on the horizon.
Yeah. And I see Pine is asking why wouldn't he know the player if he's following the footballers? I think Paul Allwood is probably checking out probably players overseas, like in England, where he's at, who can play for Jamaica, because there's 2 dimensions to this. There is players in Jamaica, right, that he must have some people working with him, and then there are players overseas that he will have more access to, that he probably have to spend most of his time looking at and stuff like that. Yeah, he sent class 2 shot put and discus champion at champion 1973.
Yeah, the great Richard Preston, man. Always happy. Yeah, man. Red Hills Road, 61 Red Hills Road. Big up yourself.
Go get the papers document to become the national coach, Diego.
Too late for that. Fine action. Too late.
Dean Sewell, Diego want you to clarify if he's a coach. I realize you're not answering the question. What, you don't want to disappoint him?
All my players will tell you I'm a coach, man. But what I do now, I make sure I select quality players now, like the big coaches then. You can't be a bug and play for Diego, Diego have to call you and select you like an all-star. So what I do, I give them instructions and allow my players now to make decisions on the field, interchangeable. You understand, Mannings, man? So you can't be a bug, You can't try out for Diego side, Diego have to see you, like how you select the all-star team or a World Cup or an all-star basketball team. You have to get the call from Diego. And Diego call you and say, come in, General. Come in, Dean. Come in, Kasai.
Yeah.
Come in, Rum. You understand me?
Yeah. My thing is that I hope that I don't know how the players will be in preparation for this game, because most of them are out of season. You understand me? And Paul Hall is in England. Is it that the assistant coach will be working with them to get them up to match speed and match sharpness? You understand me, Diego? Because a lot of the Alex Marshall has been out of the national setup for quite a while. You understand me? How much time do they need? Will they get the physical conditioning possible to be able to step up to the plate and put in a performance against Peru? When will the coach be able to come in to meet with them, have his first session and all of that? So those things are very, very important to look at. But good shows of people that is the squad. Like I said, the players that I think could be on standby. I'm going to call some youngsters playing in schoolboy football. I have 7 persons that I think could be on standby if anything happens with any of the 23 that these players could be given a call up. I have Shaquille Bradford, Dennis Taylor, Trayvon Reed. I have Duncan. Duncan McKenzie, Abina Wallace, and I also have Alwyn Harvey as a midfielder from Mount Pleasant. So some of those players I would have on standby, and if someone is injured, then I could look at drafting them into the squad to go and play Peru on the 20th. But I am happy to see Damian Lowe. Regardless of what people say, one of the things that I love about him is he always turns up. He's always available. And I would say the same thing about Kemar Tax Lawrence. These guys have always made themselves available. Friendly or not, they always seem to be available. Gregory Cousins is the next good youngster as well out there. Good shout out that top 10. A youngster playing, I think at Edwin Allen. He scored 15 goals in the Dacosta Cup this season. He's someone, so some of these youngsters out there are names that could be looked at in terms of getting a call up. We have around 8 minutes to go before we close out. Diego, anything you want?
Man, you don't know how to touch little human and the thing and thing. The question for you now is, can you say you play for Constant Spring? Would you have gotten a call from Diego by playing at Constant Spring? Would Diego have called you to come to New York?
No, Diego, if it is similar, Garvey must say place. If it is when me a play ball, man, you don't know, man. You'd have pay millions to me, man. That's true. Me never take the ball serious. Me I think about education. But that's how I use football for make some money, Diego.
Just like what we call the Tripino, Candiale Rose. We call your boy, Bam Bennett, from Constant Spring,
Bam Bam.
A centre half, and we play an exhibition match against the college, and none of them could have passed him.
Then a Constant Spring baller do the best to you, man.
No.
Benji Musled play for you. Benji play for you.
Yes.
Deans will play for you.
There you go.
Chippy play for you. Bam Bam play for you. There be a Constant Spring man, them, man.
General, them get the call from Diego, man. Just like the Jamila, Mr. I get him called, the legend son, Andre McFarlane, the youngster, them, Sean Lars, Keith Simpson. You forget the call, but you don't know, do you think?
Yeah, man, Damon Paul. Unseen Sports, how you doing, man?
There. That's a key.
And great Simon that.
No, man, no. This is the next vlogger called Unseen. Peso. Peso asking, oh, you want to see Simon? You want to see Simon?
What do you mean, man? Simon is like my godson, man. It's like I go with Mr. Southey's son, my virgin Southey.
Yeah, man, yeah.
At my face. And Southey's son get the call from me, We don't see play one game. I say, generally, you have to come in, man.
Simon, Diego want to see you, right? Simon, if you're still listening, I'm going to send you the link and you just join on and tell him Happy New Year, because if say he's him godson, him grandson, he's not sure.
Diego, you don't remember me, Diego?
That's why your face look familiar. Talk to me.
I'm really doing the something on KLSA Sports, something on Parchment.
You win, which one way did you win?
The debate, man. Schoolboy football.
Okay, genius.
Yes, Diego.
You look like a genius like Simon, and now we know you're a genius.
The great Diego in the building.
The youngster, them, they were the future, the young genius. Some of the old man, them a parliament and gone house with 90-year-old and asleep every day at gone house to leave the place for the youngster, them.
Yeah, sure.
Diego, Freddie Butler to heal you up, all right?
General again, another genius, man.
And see a big baller here, try Pepsi pin up.
Oh, you mean, man? Yo, AC Pepsi and Adonis Maxwell. There's nobody who can tell me. There's no two other player that play money cup forward who run off the ball better than them. Why anybody challenge Diego upon that? Off the ball running is immaculate. Adonis Maxwell and try pin up. When we see them on the two man, they run off the ball, and I forget them the call right away. You have to play for the other side. No other two players in the history of money cup run off the ball like them two ball in the outer camp down. Two genius again.
Nah, you're money's man.
What is what we not hear you?
Pepsi, you know, your own man is man. The link, you know, it's a new year. You know how it's gonna go. But bless up and sing. Yeah, and seeing what you have to say about the squad, because we are 5 minutes away from wrapping up. What say you?
All right, so I'm glad that some of the youngsters, get their chance to showcase their talent. But I think Norman Campbell and Maggie should have been in the squad. But the coach Paula worked with them already, so he must know what he wants. So based on his decision, because I think it's he who select these players. So based on what he wants, he will select based on that. So I guess that's where he gets his team from. But I wanted to see more of Alex Marshall, not Alex Marshall, Maggie, especially in this international match against Peru. So yeah, that's one of the players that I think should have been in the squad. I'm glad that Karim Paris is in the squad. Yeah, he's playing good football over there in Europe, and I think this is the time for him to show Jamaica that he should be in the squad and be a mainstay in the squad. So I hope Karim Paris is listening to the program, go out there and perform well, so Jamaica can say yes, you are ready for to be that person in the squad.
I tell you, Parchment, before you go manage man, and him call the name, I'm supposed to say the man is a young genius, Any coach that don't have McGee in a 23 Jamaica squad is an idiot. So if Paul Hall not have him, we're going to have Paul Hall as an idiot too. McGee must be in your squad. The talent of the man they have is not normal in football to go forward at will with the pass, with the dribble, with the creativity. He must, you have to play in the 90 and start him, but he must be in your squad for the future.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing, Diego, he would not necessarily be in this squad because Paul would have seen him already. So that is why he's not in this for the friendly.
No, man, I'm not talking about the friendly. I'm talking about the real football.
Okay, yeah.
But that's not nobody can read Tapper. How you leave out McGee and tell me say, okay, then what anybody call me a different Tapper right now, anywhere in the world.
Diego, you and I going to have a debate about this Tapper thing.
Okay, so you are defending them.
We're not today, but you and I are going to debate this Tapper thing.
Well, you told me you're not fire Tapper.
So man, you're going to lose. They're going to beat you.
No, man. No, based on performance, based on the performance of the team and the results, you have to.
You're going to debate me then and you agree with me.
Well, no, I have challenge you.
You want to debate Diego for debate Diego then.
So what? You know who I would have loved to have seen? The only other person I'm saying, Niku Daly. I don't see Niku Daly in the team. Former Clarendon College player. He plays in the USL as well, and he has had a good enough season in the USL. A next youngster who was part of that under-20 team. I think it would have been a good call-up for him to kind of, display his talent in front of the new head coach. So he's the other person that I'm thinking should be there.
Man, what would you say about the transitioning from the under to national program, from the junior level to the senior level? What do you think the JFF doing to get these players to go into the senior team? Because DQ Daly is a part of that under 20, under 17, coming up in the ranks and find it difficult to make it in the senior team, and yet he's performing well. What is the problem?
I think Paul Hall, and this is why I think Paul Hall coming in, having worked with the under 23s at Queen's Park Rangers, he understands how to move players from one level, from the junior level to the senior level. I think he will help with this. This must be one of his most important role. How do you get the players from under 17 to under 20 to under 23 to the national team? I think of all the functions that he has, if he's going to be the long-term head coach, this must be something that his performance is measured by. How many players was he able to take through, transition through from junior to senior? Because that's what the record at Queen's Park Rangers, when you look at Izzy, I think his name is, and there's a next one that they just sold over. Queen's Park Rangers have transitioned since Paul Hall has been there as part of that whole developmental thing. More than 15 players out of the junior to the senior and to other teams and sold them. So I think this must be one of his role in the national setup. So going ahead, I think this needs to happen. It is not happening now, and I think when he's given the job full time, if so, it must be part of his job description. I don't know what Diego think about that, but that's my feeling.
Okay, I share the same sentiment. But the next question I would like to ask Diego is, why is Javan Watson in the team? And
Diego, answer that early, man.
I didn't hear him.
No, McMahon is one outside. I'm a different Javan Watson selection.
Yeah. Why Java? Tell me this now. So this is the problem. Why can't we, like how we have the youngster, we'll give him a try from Harborview, but he did something wrong and end up in court system or whatever. But why can't we, get another young player from the Premier League and try to build him in a D-mid position? Why can't we look at the D-mids in our country? Right? Because Javan Watson is 40, man of 40, more like 240. I don't see why we keep using Javan Watson. I don't know. His performance in the Gold Cup and the World Cup is not good. It's not good.
You're asking me the question, or you're answering? You're giving the
answer. I'm asking and giving you my point. I don't turn it over to you now.
All right. So big up, countryman. Man say, bless it, New York, New York.
Elite. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let me answer now. Listen. Would I be okay? First, let me just say it this way. One, I would be okay if they selected a younger player instead of Javan Watson. In fact, remember when he was originally drafted into the team, I said that there were other players, including Andrew Vanzi and the same Howell, who were playing better in the league than Watson. So he wasn't selected based on his performance. They selected him. I think his performances have a lot to be desired. All right. However, maybe there is a lacking in leadership in the team that he brings in. The truth is, if you look at stats, the games that he has started in, the team has not played center back and the team has not conceded. I don't know if those are the factors, but I am totally okay with them not having him. Paul Hall, I don't know what Paul Hall wants to see or what he has seen, and so I'm leaving it to him. Because listen, if he continues down this path, he's going to face the same kind of criticism that Coach Whitmore faced. So he must be very weary going down this path. Because the truth is, if our two best holding midfielders has an average age of 73, we are in problems.
But man, if Paul had selected, a young D-mid, like two young D-mids with Aka, I would say, all right, then he's testing to see whether Aka is better than these young players, to see if he can be there. But there is no other D-mid in the squad.
Yes.
Who is the other D-mid?
Owell,
Owell is, but Owell and Aka is like you already give Aka the win over Owell. You understand me? You need more, to challenge.
No, I don't think so. I think Howell was Howell was the most outstanding of all the D-mids in the league last season, to be fair to him.
Right.
There is Howell in the team. So I'm not saying maybe he's bringing him there. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Tevin Shaw as well is a holding midfielder. So he has Tevin Shaw, he has Howell. Those are two very good options. So maybe he's not even going to play him. Kevin Lambert is also there. So that's 4 persons in that position. So unless he's bringing Haka for the purpose of what he's saying, more mentorship and transitioning the position to them. Like this could be the final hurrah for Haka then.
I hope it's that way. I hope it's that way. That's what Diego.
What you mean, man? The money's man.
Well, money's one kind of simplify it down. You know, maybe people can view it that way. That makes sense, money's one. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because there's Lambert, Howell, and Tevin Shaw. And Tevin Shaw was playing in Canada. He was at Tivoli Gardens. He was in the national setup kind of before that. Always been a talented player, played under 20, under 23, under 17. So there must be something there in him. And he was playing consistency. Unlike, I think, Alex Marshall, who at the tail end of the season in Canada, he wasn't getting a lot of game time. Came back to Jamaica, had on a little weight. So he has been working out. So let's see, because the last time, I don't know if people recall this, but the last time Alex Marshall played for Jamaica, he was the most outstanding player at the game, But it was, I think, against Cayman Islands when he played for and he has never been called back since.
Jordan Fisher is in the squad, right?
Yeah, but remember, yeah, I need to check up on, because remember he went away on trial. He never signed. He went away on trials and a couple of clubs over there in Egypt, and so it seemed to be coming back. Yeah.
For the coming back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, it was a good show. Thank you so much for coming on. Diego, the people them love seeing you and say I need to do this more often.
No, man, me link up now, man. I'm putting the webcam ready for you now, man. But you don't know, Diego talking straight, Anybody have a problem when I talk about them coach and them player? If Diego opinion is Diego opinion, you have to agree.
Yeah. So Simon clarified, yeah, against Aruba, right? Against Aruba, Simon, in the Nations League. Simon, I did send you the link. Did I send you the link? Please, you need to come on. I need to let you come on. Just come on for a minute and heal up Diego now, if you can, because he want,
Come in, man. We love to see with the general, man.
Yeah, he wants to see you, so just jump on, please, and tell him and then we'll close the stream, Mr. Preston. I know you're probably at work.
So grandmother used to Paredes Road, when we're hungry, we don't.
Hey, nobody gone in on the whole of the one visit. The one come and go to them.
You know, she used to feed all the way, After Paredes Road, we had Simon, we had Richie, and we just get food, grandmother sweet, sweet lady.
One question, no man is one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what is the preparation to the game? Like, there will be any camp and stuff like that?
Yeah, boy, you coming? You want us to go back everything where we discuss today? Easy,
I must say I'm coming late,
That's we watch this. Diego, who is that? You know that person?
So the great young genius, young Preston. Yes, General. So we go way back before he even born. The DNA go way back with your father,
Yeah, man, same night, everything, man. No perspective, everybody. Afternoon.
Big up, Simon.
Yeah, man.
The grandmother used to feed you regular. Already is road there,
Yeah, man. Sir Preston, so good to have you on. I don't know what you want to say to Diego because he insists that you need to come on.
I want to ask him a question if I agree with the Kevin Lambert thing.
Based on the form that he had in the latter stage of USL, yes. I think he deserves being back in the squad. The qualifiers now is a different picture, but I'm happy he's in for this friendly. So go out there, prove yourself, and let's see if he can be in the 23 for the qualifiers now. But for this friendly, yeah, man, he deserves this spot. Really, really deserves it.
As a genius, boy, I love to hear you based on Diego again formation. Because that man your father come up with it now. 1970 Brazil was the first introduction to football. Total football. Everything go forward. Because the man they come for score goal. They don't change them game. Like Man City there now Liverpool. They don't change the game for nobody.
Right.
And that we grew up come see, and the great King Pele, the greatest footballer ever. And only two people never go forward was the two centre back. The more they take two touch, everything else going forward. Carlos Alberto, Amarillo, Tastaro, Jersinho, Gerson, Pele. I remember them name. Yeah. See, give me your 4-3-3 based on who has put on the shirt for Jamaica. Not who coming. One know. I want to hear your 1-2, you know, and see score. 4-3-3.
From the current squad are all time.
No, man. Current squad, but all the players that was played so far, don't like you can't call Louis Baker. Come no play yet.
Okay.
So far, when you would have used as a genius, 2 young genius. Because we know Tapa is a clown. Them vex some call him a clown, but him is a clown. So we can't call my son a clown, we can't call Tapa a clown. We don't want nobody to try sense a Diego. Yeah.
No problem. All right. Andre Blake in goal. Left back, Greg Lee. Right back, Javain Brown. Central defense, Damian Lowe. And beside him, Liam Moore. It pains me to leave out Mariappa, but in front of him, Anthony Grant, Speedy, Ravel Morrison, and a front three of Leon Bailey, Mikel Antonio, and Bobby Reid.
Why the ball kill it for Bobby Reid? Let me hear yours one and see.
All right, so I would go with the same back line. You know, Blake in goal. Centre back, it's Low, and I would use Pinnock though instead of Moore. And I would have Brown right and Greg Lee on the left. In the midfield, I would have Grant in the D mid, Speedy, and McGee in the attacking midfield. It said the front three now would be Leon Bailey and what's his name again? Michael Antonio, and put somebody else over there. No, who's going to be that person? Can't use Bobby Reid, you know. Bobby Reid performance is not that great.
Could be Flemmo, could be Corey Burke, could be Nicholson.
Corey Burke is not a winger.
No, but something
not a winger. I will use Nicholson.
So Preston, why Bobby Reid no? Can you get enough flack for that now? You know?
Yeah.
Why Bobby Reid, to answer the people that don't explain, why Bobby Reid over Shamar Nicholson or Corey Burke?
Because of the shape, because of the 4-3-3 shape. If you had said to me 3-5-2 or 4-4-2, Nicholson would easily be in it. But I don't look at him with his size at 6'4" as an individual that could play on a wider side. In a 4-3-3, if he's not the number 9, I'm not going to play him. But if he use another formation, absolutely, he's in the team for me. Hands down.
Well, you just let me switch now. So Bobby Reid over Shamar for me now. Did you see the genius? Let me switch the thing. Kind 4-3-3, Bobby Reid is more effective than a Shamar. He's right. I agree with him.
What about Jamal Lowe? Somebody asking about what about Jamal Lowe over Bobby Reid?
Has Jamal Lowe played? Has he played for Jamaica already, Manningsman?
Jamal Lowe?
Yeah, he played in the World Cup qualifiers. Yeah.
To be fair, more effective on the left-hand side than the right, than Bobby, but he can operate both areas. My preference is for him to come on last half an hour of games, but not necessarily to start. 0-0, 1-1, we need that goal, we need that spark. I like to save him for those moments, personally.
Yeah. And Piney, yes, Simon is a journalist, and he's saying that you're sharp like Raymond Sharp, Simon.
Trying my best, learning from you guys, listening to you guys for years and years on the radio.
but Bobby missing out some important goals, you know.
Right.
So, no.
Yeah. But Diego, any other question for Simon? Because I know he's at work, so you know.
No, man. Just happen for the genius, man. They are the future, you know. Let me say, God knows we get rid of some of them, man. They were Kevin stay alive. Kevin. Them done, everything done for them.
A top our call, you know, if I answer the call.
Oh, okay. and the genius them want to see that in media and in God knows and around the thing, man. What's the point you have with them? You have this big university at West Indies. All these geniuses, I'm telling you right now, University of West Indies is one of the toughest universities in the world to graduate from. Because my friends went there when I came to New York. The University of New York, and them tell me, what's the point of having them graduating, leaving university, and them now run the country? Them for run the country.
Interesting.
Yeah. Gunner's boss is asking what you have going on, Simon. Where to follow you? Go ahead then.
Yeah, on YouTube, Reggae Boys Commentary. On Twitter, SimeyP93. That's SIMEY. P and 93, but Reggae Boys Commentary on YouTube for the latest relating to Jamaican football, players, potential call-ups, and new players that could be introduced into the fold. So you all can get the latest there as well. And of course, I am Sure Sports for in-depth interviews with many personalities.
Yeah, there you go. And then what happened to Jamal Lowe, Demar Gray, Louis Beta, Andre Gray? I think that question is for you, Simon.
Yeah, since Diego said that don't use a player name that hasn't been called up as yet, that's why Demar Gray didn't mention him. Andre Gray, a different sort of individual in a 4-3-3. So that's why I went with Bobby Reed than Andre Gray. Yes, Gray is going to work the channels, but if I want something to create in a moment in a wide area or a tight angle, I would go with Bobby. I know the USA game people are going to be quite critical and have been critical, but I just have that confidence in him that if the ball is at his feet, he can make something happen. I know the finishing is a concern though, but yeah, Jamal Lowe, Gray, Baker hasn't played yet, so yeah.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Unseen, and then.
Yes, Simon. So, a question to you: what do you think about Karim Park's inclusion into the team, and how you think he will perform? What do you expect? What do you expect?
It's an interesting one with him, because from the Saudi Arabia game last year, we haven't seen him in the fold, and top scorer in Slovenia, really settling into Europe and this a new environment. So you could say this call up is long overdue, long overdue. From even the Japan games last year, he should have been in the mix for me in a 23-man squad. I wouldn't say he's somebody that is a shoo-in for the qualifiers against Mexico, Costa Rica, Panama, but he deserves being in this 23-man squad for sure. In terms of how he will be in the squad, I think the Saudi Arabia games last year, we got a glimpse of what he can be able to do. Maybe there's a couple of nerves why he didn't get to play both games fully. But I like him on that left-hand side preferably, but he's able to operate on both sides, and you just know when he's on the ball that something can happen. So he deserves it, honestly. He deserves being in the squad, and long may that continue. And hopefully he can make the transition from Slovenia to western parts of Europe, probably Belgium, Switzerland in the near future, or even England eventually.
Yeah. You know what I want? It's at Norman Campbell, is it that the coach probably is kind of aware of how to deploy them, how they fit into what he has going forward, and McGee, why they would not have been called up for this particular friendly, seeing that it's a younger group of players and they have been in and out. Even Romario, oh geez, he played in the game in the Mexico game.
Williams, yeah.
Romario Williams, like a player like that, or is it just club obligation? Why some of those players who were you'd say on the fringes, in and out, not steady in the team, were not called up for this particular game?
Yeah, it's down to the obligations from the clubs, because we could have called up Blair Turgott, who plays in Sweden, and the Swedish leagues is done. We could have called him up, but he's trying to tie down a deal with another club. There's a lot of interest in the Far East, so there could be a move for him on the hand, so that's why he's not called up there. So it's really down to the availability. It's not a FIFA date, and it's the hardest time to get players. So this should be an opportunity for local players to say, listen, I'm going to put my hand up, I'm going to do my best. And at the end of the day, I go out there and give my best. This is a grand opportunity. You're playing against a South American team at altitude, technically gifted. So go out there and shine, and you never know. You might just be in that 23 for the Mexico game.
Yeah, and then the other thing that we need to bear in mind is that a lot of the Peruvian players play in South America. So they're not, they're going to have a very formidable team. It's not like a B team playing against Jamaica. So I don't think it's going to be an easy game, yeah.
Exactly, you're right. And this is a team that was at the World Cup a couple of years ago. They have a younger, fresher squad, not like they did a couple of years ago. So a lot of new faces with a lot of hunger and desire. Still, they can qualify for Qatar. So they have some incentive to play us as well, and some incentive to come at us. So they will be coming with all guns blazing. For me, I've always maintained that friendlies, I'm not watching the result. I'm looking at the performance in terms of friendlies. So whether we get a 5-1, a 4-1, for me, it's all about the performance and who stands up and can show. The result for me is not the most important thing from this game in particular.
Yeah. All right. Listen, thank you guys so much.
Yes,
really.
So big up yourself, youngsters.
Yeah, big up.
Big up everyone.
I have to pay the bill. Like money's more than a millionaire. I have to work and pay the bills.
I have a villa over in Wichita.
But I tell you, I want to open in New York to go and not tell nobody about it. All right, guys.
Yeah, man, next up.
You know,
Yeah,
love
man.
is lovely. Love is lovely.
Yeah,
As
man.
Michael Jackson said, where there's love, I'll be there. Simple.
Yeah, man. All right, people, blessings. Thank you so much for Simon. Man, blessings, man. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
man.
Always put it up. Check out Reggae Boys commentary, people. What's the deal? And it is not like a seal that is happening. It is a show of players that is happening there. And what's the deal? And when is the next video out?
Tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, the next video is out, so I can stay tuned for that for
Stay
sure.
tuned for that. Yeah, man. All right. Thank you, Simon, for jumping on for a short time. Really appreciate it. All the best for 2022 and stay safe, please. Stay safe. Wear your mask, sanitize, and if you can get a booster, do so, my friend. It is important. You're gonna be traveling, so you need, to make sure we have all the necessary things. All right. Unseen. Thank you also for joining. I know you did an interview with a former Charlie Mount High School player who is at
Yes.
Arnett Gardens,
Martin.
Marlon Martin, that is on his platform Unseen Sports TV. So go and check that out. All right.
He plays CDM.
Play CDM. There you go. Thanks to everyone who tuned in and watched the show. Thanks to Cranky for jumping on. And for Diego. Diego the Great, they call him. You know, uh, New York, New York. City so nice. He always says they name it twice. Thank you for coming on, Diego, and being a part of the show. For everyone in the comment section, thank you so much as well. Listen, be safe, right? Whatever you do today, take opportunity to add value to someone's life, right? Do something to make someone's life better. It may be the smallest gesture possible, but try to change your life by being good in all that you say and all that you do. And where experience don't meet expectation, fill the gap with trust. Always trust that people have the best of intent. Don't be quick to judge people. Don't be quick to judge people. Seek to understand before being understood. Bless you. Be safe. One love, one Jamaica, one people, always. This is Manins Man for I Am Sure Sports.